Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we have just arrived the rear aluminium racing upgraded hubs for the, I believe it's the Avante 2011 and the Egress Black edition, or that's what it says it should fit, so hopefully it does. These look like they're a bit more involved than the front because the original rear arms are quite wide, or the hubs, sorry, are quite wide compared to these, and they do come with a bunch of other bits. So hopefully they will fit on the Egress. Part number is TAV007BK, but let's bring in for a close-up look and see how successful these are at being fitted on the Egress. Right, so basically we get 4 really nice aluminium shims or spacers. We get a pair of these really nice aluminium hubs. So I think the only place we need to fit the spacers is on the top. So it looks straightforward. It does come with some instructions, but let's see how we go. So first thing we're going to want to do is be removing this wheel. So we get that dropped off. Then you're going to want to get the hex removed, and the pin removes itself as per usual. So what we're going to need to do is remove this tie bar. Then we're going to want to remove the ball joint. So we can get that out. Then we're going to want to remove both of these. And I'm kind of surprised that the stock parts, especially screwing into plastic, are actually machine thread, or fine thread should I say, which is what you're going to need for the aluminium parts. So it's quite nice, we don't have to use different screws. So once we get it to this point, should be able to just slide that off. Then we're going to need to pop out as bearings. So if we look at the geometry of these, so the spacing's perfect on the bottom, but obviously the top, it's going to come up in the middle. So I think first off, we're going to want a tiny bit of thread lock on both of these. And then I would put a bit of thread lock on the end of that one because it's going back through them all. So we're going to want a bearing pressed into the back, and we're going to want to slide that on into position. So once we've got that on, you're then going to want to screw both these in. And you just need to make sure your drive shaft's not come disengaged. So we've got one of the retaining screws in. Let's get the other one lined up. And they do seem to fit really, really nicely in the suspension arms. So looking at the actual instructions, it's basically telling you to fit one washer either side, or one spacer either side. So we're going to want that on. You're then going to want that fitting in. Then you're going to want another shim, and then if I can find it, you're going to want the ball joint screwing onto the end of all of it. So this should put us ball joint in exactly the same position as stock, and we should be able to just pop this back on. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be to pop on, but it does look like the gap is exactly the same as the original placing for the arm, so we've got no concerns with clearance or anything. Then I want to get his outer bearing back in, and I must admit the sort of tolerances on these Racing parts really does seem to be absolutely bang on. I'm not struggling to line any of the Tamiya, the original Tamiya parts back up or anything. So we get the wheel back on now, and they certainly do look a lot nicer than the original part, but again, nothing's changed with the geometry of the suspension. So you should be able to see the wheels are exactly where they should be, but the aluminium part does look nicer than the big chunky sort of plastic part. Really does, the Racing hubs really do suit this RC. Kind of feels like them parts should have been included, but the opposite side is exactly the same. Just remember to put your spacers in and your thread lock. So I'll crack on with that. So there we have it, both rear hubs all fitted. And now to match the front ones, doesn't alter any geometry, and yeah, really happy with the way that lines up and how they fit. Does kind of suit the car. It's a higher quality Tamiya, and again, same as the front, these just don't seem to do it justice. But let's wrap this one up. So there you have it, few more hop-up parts on the Egress Black Edition. Really happy with this, with how this RC's turned out. I've drove it very slightly, and it does drive absolutely fantastic. I did just feel like the really flimsy plastic hubs kind of let it down, but yeah, do really like it. The suspension setup on it feels absolutely great, and it's not too heavy an RC either, which I do quite like. But definitely like the upgraded Racing parts. If you know of any other hop-ups or mods you can get for this this RC, feel free to leave a comment below. I know I'm aware of at least, let's see if I can remove this. So I know you can at least get these, or you could get these parts in aluminium for steering. Never seen any arms for the rear other than the, I believe it was the Avante arms that were all metal, but they do add quite a bit of weight, but it's never going to be really hard bashed or anything. So pretty much think that's about done for this RC. I do really like it, love the way it looks, and really enjoyed the build. As I've said before, this was kind of just a selfish build for myself. Always wanted a Tamiya like this when I was younger and could never afford it. So I thought, why not? Now we've got channel, got an excuse to throw some money at a more expensive Tamiya. But thanks again for watching WTF Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.